No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm doing an interview with somebody that I've been a fan of for a very long time. Jason Ellis is in the building.
How's it going, mate?
How you doing, man?
Casual.
Casual.
Yeah.
That's how you're feeling?
Most of the time, yeah. Or angry. But casual's where I stand today.
An angry interview would have been cool.
Yeah? You could get one if you poke me.
I'm a big fan of like wrestling promos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, fuck you, man, and fuck BMX or something. I really like BMX. So
That's what we should talk about the whole episode.
Yeah.
Is just the.
I saw your shit the other day doing some weird ass fucking bar spin grind. Like,
well,
good for you guys.
I don't remember the bar spinning, but it was.
What is it when you do half a bar spin?
X up grind or X up.
You did an X up grind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very briefly, but yeah.
You did it.
Yeah. How old are you?
50.
So what's the state of your...
Why you got to do that? People thought I was like 45. At least you fucked me.
What is the state of your skateboarding desire? Like, how much are you doing it? How much do you care about it? Where are you at in terms of your love of the art?
Yeah, a lot. I care about it a lot again. I took a big gap trying to do radio, so I just sort of left.
For how... Radio was so intense that you just didn't do it at all.
Well, I moved to LA and there's no vert ramp.
Right.
So I'm just a vert guy. That's all I've got left in me.
So a 6 foot quarter does nothing for you?
Nah.
Really?
I mean, I can't push on it. I can just do like, some axle stalls or blunter fakie or something. I don't really want to push it because I don't know how to. I just want to go fast and I want to go flying in the air.
Right.
And that's what vert gives you if you go enough.
Right.
And that's all I ever really cared about in the end. I skated everything, but in the end, it just became, I just love vert ramps. I want to skate a vert ramp. I'm not really interested in doing any other kind of skateboarding.
To me, it's just a little bit of a foreign mindset because it's like, if I want to grind, if I like grinding 20 stair rails, but there's none around. It's like, well, shit, I guess we're riding some 6 stair rails, right?
Yeah.
But
I see your angle.
So you get that pleasure from the big ramp, but then the smaller, a ramp half that size just really doesn't do anything for you? That's interesting to me.
It's fun. It's still kind of fun, but I love pushing it. I love doing stuff where my life flashes before my eyes, And on vert, you can get that every time you go. Every time you do something a little bit sketchy, you can get destroyed, Fucking Tony Hawk just broke his leg. It happens to everybody.
The other day?
Dude.
Really?
The new podcast just came out today. I know this will be late, but...
Because you do a weekly podcast with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk versus Wolf.
Which is amazing to me that he's in California enough to do that. I just figured he would be traveling so much that he would not be able to do a regular podcast.
He's trying to be more of a dad. He stays home as much as he can. Costs a lot to get Tony to leave now.
That's good. Yeah, that's where your mind has to go over time. Yeah.
Yeah, but he still skates every day. That's kind of what he wants to do, and I have just recently sort of got back into that. So it's like it's new to me again.
Right.
And it's more about I don't care. I don't have I do have sponsors, but accidentally.
Right.
But I don't do it for any money or any pat on the back. I'm doing it purely because I love it.
Yeah.
And the last time I did it 15, 17 years ago for a living, I was kind of doing stuff to stay paid.
Right.
And I was getting sick of it, and I was not as good as some of the new guys, and I just didn't like being around on the decline. It was like kind of depressing.
Yeah, because I went through the same thing where once the podcast really started to take off, because prior to that, my life was going on my bike and, maybe just like filming some stuff for YouTube or whatever, but mostly just hanging out in neighborhoods, going around, riding bikes all over the place. And then once I really started to kill it doing the podcast stuff, it became like I have so much more money that I can make, more views I can get, more followers I can get, et cetera, by just staying at this store, because we were still at the store at the time, doing, 2-3 podcasts a day, meeting so many people, doing social media in the store, so we're making more sales. It just kind of became, my logical brain cannot come up with a reason for me to go out and ride bikes anymore, as I was doing for approximately 20 years before this. And then, at a certain point now, especially it started to kind of click during the pandemic, it's like, well, actually, even though there's no good reason for you to be doing that, it still makes you really, really happy in a way that that nothing else really does. Like there's something about going out and riding bikes that just feels very, very pure to me, and it really feels like it makes me feel more normal than almost anything. So now I feel like I have this kind of love affair with it again, even though, you know, the opportunity cost thing fucks me up, because a lot of times it's like, well, if I'm going to not do interviews today and I'm going to go out riding bikes with the guys for 5 hours, it's like, look at how much money I just gave up by, you know, like that's a lot of money to spend to go ride bikes.
I do my shows, and when there's time, I go skate.
Really?
It's also very convenient that one of my shows is at
Your
Tony's
home.
vert ramp.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as we're done, we're skating.
Right.
It's like, it's a no-brainer. So
But
it's not tough to do.
But that's why you're kind of screwed too, though, because with the vert thing, it's such a specific thing that doesn't exist that many places in the world. For me, I could I have my bike in my car right now. I could go to I could type school or skate park into my phone and just go to a random flat ledge and at least, you know, be able to feel alive for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that's the things that you like to do. You like to do tricks where all those things are everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where there's only one place I want to go. That's Tony's ramp. All other ramps, I don't want to ride that either. I'm too fucking old.
Oh, he got the
I don't
best
need
one?
any. And I don't need any. I don't want to get adjusted to anything anymore. I want to just do what I do on that one and try to make it home. It's a lot. It's way more emotional now when you're 50. Like when you do stuff that's sketchy, you don't know if you're gonna. It could be it.
Do you think that a lot? This might be the last time I'm doing this.
Yeah, because I got a heart condition and shit, and it's doing really good now. But I had a procedure on it, and then I am on some pills that make it not grow. So now I might not have to have a heart replacement, but I still feel like death is fucking knocking all the time. And I'm like, this is the last time you'll do skateboarding. This is the last. Every time I do a trick that's really hard, it's probably the last time I'll do it.
Right.
Because it's kind of stupid to do another one. You know, like you just put it all on the line. You know, if I get knocked out again, I've been knocked out a lot, you know? And it already has happened since I started skating again.
But do you ever think about that? Like how would I feel if I died doing this trick? Like, does it occur to you like this would be a decent way to go out? Or does it occur to you like this is an incredibly stupid thing for me to be doing? This is not how I should die.
No, probably the first one.
Really?
But I would like it to be a little more longer. I want to see my kids grow up and shit. There's a few more things that I want to accomplish before I can be like, yeah, man, if I die on this trick, then so be it.
Definitely.
I got trying to do stand-up. I want to be a good comedian.
As every good podcaster must attempt at some point in their lifespan, don't you think?
I guess. Maybe that's why I dodged it. But I feel like now, because I'm a podcaster and I have other time to do stuff.
Okay, but
it's natural to me.
The podcast to stand-up transition kind of makes sense to me, because when you're on a podcast, what are you doing? You're basically workshopping ideas. You're sort of just tossing shit back and forth. And in comparison, stand-up usually is like your 20 minutes might have took 6 months to curate or whatever it might be. You know, it's like very finely tuned language. Whereas what we're doing right now, I don't even know what the next word that's going to come out of my mouth is.
Which can happen in stand-up too. And if you're in that pocket and you're us and you have that ability, you have you're relaxed. Because I believe that if I run out of material that I can make up some shit.
Right.
I believe that. Why do I believe that? Because I've been doing this shit for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at making words come out of my mouth from time to time.
Right.
It's going to work out. And there's nerves, there's pressure, there's success and failure. And when it happens and it ends, even if it goes really bad, I never go to hospital. So it's a new addiction that I'm like, this one I can do all the way till I die. Because if I bomb, you don't get hurt. It's just people were like, you sucked.
Right.
It's nowhere near as bad as going to hospital. Hospital sucks.
Are you a lifelong comedy fan though? Stand-up fan?
No.
Okay. Then what made you want to try it out?
I tried once and I didn't do well because I didn't have any material. And then I did an interview with Craig Ferguson, and Craig Ferguson told me after the podcast, promise me that you'll try to do stand-up. I was like, why? He's like, just promise me. And I was like, all right, I promise you. And we had a little bit of a relationship. He'd been on my show a few times. I looked up to him. I also think he's like one of the most talented, funny TV people that ever existed. And it just struck me that it's like a bit of a cheesy thing where I thought this is a thing that I remember because I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, sometimes when I look at my life, I think if I had met a stand-up comedian at 15 or 16 or 18 or whatever, that might have become my thing.
You could still do it.
Nah.
What the fuck? I'm 50. I just started a year ago.
But what's the point?
Well, wait, you're saying I'm just pointless right
No,
now?
I'm saying when I think about doing comedy, it seems retarded. Like, why would I do that?
Well, that's a bad sign for you to continue trying to be a comedian for sure.
No, for sure.
When I think about it, I go, yeah, it's a pretty good idea. I don't go, man, that's the dumbest shit ever. If I thought that, I definitely wouldn't have started doing it.
In what ways is it a good idea? And
For
very much, I like the idea of you doing it. I just, on a personal level, it seems like a terrible waste of time.
Do you like being funny? You're pretty serious, huh?
No, I like being funny.
You were pretty serious on my show.
But I don't really like stand-up.
Do you giggle when you get tickled and shit?
Yeah, no, I laugh a lot.
You do?
Josh, do I laugh? That's not Josh. That's
He
right.
doesn't, does he? You're a bit hard exterior.
I feel like
things.
this whole podcast, for the most part, is about us laughing at shit. Like the consistent, like the No Jumper show that we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Jason Ellis fans, you should definitely tune in. But I mean, yeah, I just, okay, I'm going to lay out for me.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like you're going to make any money at it.
What? Yeah, I am.
Unless you get huge.
I'm going to get huge.
Okay. But realistically, for the time being.
What do you mean realistically? Realistically, I'm fucking for sure going to be huge. I don't even care about being
How
huge.
big of a-
I already make a lot of money. I just want to be really good at it.
Right.
That's what I want from it, and I know that I can do that.
I don't care about that.
I know
So that's
I can.
number one. I don't care about just being good at some random thing. It seems
What
like
about that weird fucking bowl thing that you do all the time?
right.
You seem
No,
pretty
yeah.
invested
But I
in
like that. I like that.
What the fuck? When I see that, I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's
Well,
pretty
that's
stupid.
you. I'm saying I don't want to be a comedian. I don't see.
I don't want to be a. What do you do with the ball? What's it called?
Nobody has proposed that you play kendama.
Kanama.
You're proposing that I do fucking comedy.
I'm just trying to
I'm
explain
being
it to
forced
you.
to defend why I don't want to do
Comedy
now.
versus Kanama. Comedy wins every time.
But it's a simple question. Like, what are you planning to get from it? Like, what do you think that this is going to do for you? Because
I just want to accomplish
don't
it before I die.
Huh?
I just want to accomplish it before I die. And I'm like, comedy. I'm going to be a really good comedian. Pro skateboarder, race driver, MMA fighter. I want to do all this shit as much as I can before I die. It's ticking. And I ain't fucking playing. I'm not sitting here to be like, yeah, I did this, I did that, now I'm going to kick back. I'm not kicking back. I want to do more. I don't know if after comedy if I want to do something else. If I make a lot of money, I'm going to race cars again.
Right.
Like, I want to do shit all the time.
I respect it. I'm
Thanks.
just
But
sort of
I'm not doing it for respect.
I'm sort of zeroing in on this specific thing. Like, why this?
I don't know.
What
how
does it?
it
What does
happened. I
it
don't
feel
know how
that
it happened.
skateboarding didn't and that the radio didn't?
Oh, it's to get good at something, and I love it. I can feel like this addiction. It's an.
But you could get
It's an
good.
addiction.
You could get good at sewing, crochet,
Yeah, but
knitting.
I won't get the feeling that I get from doing comedy.
Well, I've talked to some knitters, and I think you probably are going to get a pretty good feeling.
I know some people get runner's high, and when I run, I just think this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
So running is out.
Yeah, I don't want to be a crazy runner, like a long distance runner. I don't get it. But
don't get
I'm
that
happy
either.
for everybody else that does it.
Yeah.
Why can't you be happy for me for trying to be a comedian? I feel like you're coming at me for trying to be funny.
You just still haven't.
You don't think I'm funny?
But you haven't given me any kind of like reason for why you want to be a comedian, except I like accomplishing things. And I said, well, you could accomplish anything. That doesn't really like explain why you want to accomplish
I
this
feel it's a
exact
calling
thing.
for me.
Oh, that's a good reason.
I feel like I didn't know that I was good at radio until I started. And I was like, oh my God, I'm really good at this. Let's do it. And then that's what happened with comedy.
I just
Same thing.
if you wonder why I seem skeptical of comedy, from my perspective,
Oh.
even a lot of the really successful comedians I know,
I know what you're asking me.
they're going to a club and they're performing in front of like 50 people.
Yeah.
And they're getting like, I don't know, like $50, like $100 or some
I
shit.
got 25 last night.
Yeah.
Cash.
And that just seems like, something you would only do if you were like desperately in love with this art form. Because I know for me on YouTube, I mean, I'm definitely not going to make a video if I'm getting paid $25 and 50 people are going to see it.
Yeah, you like money a lot.
Well, and just people seeing my work. And it
I
seems
just
like
think
if you're doing a show for 50 people at the Comedy Cellar or whatever, and you're getting $25, it's not really registering on the like people seeing it spectrum, and it's definitely not registering on the profitability spectrum. So that's I just personally always feel confused about why so many people get into
I really
this.
like it. I don't really care about the money. I told you I got money. And
Right.
everybody, I don't, people recognize me sometimes. Who fucking,
How do you have money?
from Patreon and some other stuff that I have, some other companies.
Patreon comes to mind. That's the best one.
Right now for the show, yeah. Because that's like, we do okay on podcasting, but the Jason Ellis show is not that big. It's steady, but it's not a huge success story. Hawk versus Wolf, on the other hand, seems to be this thing that's growing fast.
That one's doing really well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I already make enough to live my life. So now everything else is a bonus.
Right.
And now I go on the road. I go on planes and then I do stand up and I get paid. It's fucking hilarious. It's so much fun.
How much do you get paid when you're on the road?
I got $1,000 last week.
Really?
Yeah.
For one show?
Nah, for 3 days of shows.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you stay in hotel rooms, kind of like being a pro skateboarder again.
Yeah.
You like fly around and shit.
But see, that's the shit that's kind of fucking me up too. Like, we have a live show coming up.
Yeah.
500 tickets sold.
Yeah. Is that good?
It's cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, the money doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense for me to go do it. Just
But you're gonna
based
have
on
fun
the money.
though, right?
I'm gonna have fun. But then sometimes people are like, "You should go on the road," and it's like, "Well, I'll do one night of this, but I'm definitely not going on the road doing this."
Yeah.
Because it just makes no sense. Like, doing YouTube is just infinitely more profitable.
Right. Well, I'm very fortunate. I don't have to do this for a career.
I'm communicating with infinitely more people too. That's why I don't really get real life. Internet just makes so much more sense to me.
You.
It's not business, but I can't ignore the business.
Yeah.
It's like if
look, I could be wrong, but let's say this turns out and then the comedy thing gets me a bigger name, makes the Jason Ellis show a bigger podcast. Yay. A worst case scenario, I'm just really good and I can control the room and make people laugh and get that high from it. Because it does get you off.
But for me, I have to weigh that against other things too, like the what I'm giving up.
I would have
by
been at
leaving
home
the house.
smoking weed.
Yeah, but you can hang out with your kids and shit, right?
No, every second weekend I get them.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. And also, my kid is so young that I feel like that's like a big part of why
that would be different.
I need to be extremely well compensated
kids are
to leave
grown
the
up,
house.
dude.
Leaving LA is
Yeah, if they were little, then yeah, I wouldn't do it because
Okay.
you don't sleep. That's the other thing. If
I haven't been having that problem that much. My girl has that problem more than me.
Wait,
I'm just sleeping. I don't fucking wake
she
up.
handles everything?
Well, in terms of like waking up for the kid,
Do you sleep in?
no, I'll go to bed till like 7.
Oh, well then whatever.
Midnight to 7, 1
But
to
if
7.
the kid wakes up in the middle of the night, do you handle it ever?
No, I'm not. Sometimes my girl will tell me that she woke up and did something that had to deal with the kid in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, really? I have no idea.
It's not what happened to me.
Really? But why would she wake me up? That's what I don't get. Like, what am I going to do if she does wake me up?
Because it's your turn. You never heard that?
But my kid doesn't want me when she wakes up. She
Oh
wants
my
the
God,
boob.
you got this.
No.
Okay.
That's not true
Hey.
at all. Because you're like suggesting that like me waking
What about
up.
changing a diaper?
That's what I'm saying. But like, no, me going in there and waking up my kid it does
no,
nothing.
if your kid wakes up in the middle of the night because he pooped his diaper, do you go in there and change it?
She doesn't do that. But we haven't really had the midnight shit.
Oh.
Once in a blue. But
Man,
maybe
I remember
once.
getting woken up all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's your turn. I'm like, oh, get up and do shake the baby, give the baby the milk.
But if the kid wants
diaper.
one thing, the boob. That's it. So I'm just useless. Like if I wake up in the
But
middle of
there's
the
a
night.
bottle.
No.
Not ever.
No.
Straight tit.
Yeah.
100%.
No formula.
Respect to your wife. That's
Yeah.
a hustle. That's hard work.
She's very serious about the breastfeeding you.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. Well, what about can't you do the machine, and then you put the milk in the fridge?
She don't do it.
Okay. It's your house.
I don't know. I mean, should she be doing it? I don't
don't
know.
know.
I try not to involve myself in
It
the
seems
decisions
like
about
that.
the pregnancy too much, or like the child. You know, I just defer to her as the
You
expert.
try not to involve yourself in
Well,
the child.
No, but I try not to like act like I have a valid opinion on things.
Oh,
She knows so much more about it.
okay.
It's like if I have a question about something like child rearing wise,
Yeah.
I explained it to her one time. I was like, it's like if you want to know what's going on with like Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy beefing.
Yeah.
Like, are you
What's
gonna
going on with that?
gonna Google it or are you gonna ask me? She's like, I'm gonna ask you. I go, so if I have a question about parenting, realistically, I'm probably gonna ask you
Yeah, okay.
because
fair
I
enough.
see you Googling shit all day, every day.
Yeah, I copied my ex on how to be a parent for sure because I didn't know. I
Interesting.
was raised by wolves.
So how many years were you doing SiriusXM radio?
15.
15 years.
Yep.
And so what age were you when you started approximately?
What's that?
When you started, what age approximately?
30 something.
And were you ready to be done with skateboarding at that point, or where were you at with skateboarding when that happened?
Really hurt. I got a lot of injuries, and I was getting worse because of my injuries. I couldn't do certain tricks anymore because my legs wouldn't bend a certain way anymore, and I couldn't knee slide anymore because my knees were so blown out. So it was kind of just every time I'd go, I'd be all puffy after it, and it just became painful and not as rewarding because I was drinking a lot and shit, and I just wasn't as good as I used to be. Mm-hmm. As I said before, it's getting a little depressing. And then Tony asked me to be on his show. And as soon as I started, I could tell the first day that I had ability. And I remember when I first started skateboarding, I did not have any ability. I just loved it so much that after a lot of time, my body caught up with my passion and I got good at it. And I thought to myself, because I want to be good at stuff, I'm an egotistical maniac. I would love to be famous. I'm a fucking idiot. So when I see that I have that ability, I'm like, oh my God, if you put that energy that you've got in skateboarding because I never became the #1 skateboarder. That's what I wanted to be. I did not do it. I failed. Here, I had a real chance. So I just committed myself 100%. I cut out skateboarding out of my brain completely. I didn't listen to any of them. I didn't watch video anymore. I didn't fucking follow the magazines. I left and I went to LA and I did radio every day, all day, and thought about being the next Howard Stern. That's pretty much all I had. Not a very intricate game plan, just I'm going to be the next Howard Stern, and it's going to happen because I'm just going to do what I'm doing with this passion and ability, and it's going to work out great.
Was going from pro skater to radio guy improvement financially?
Yeah, but not at first.
Okay.
There was definitely like maybe 7 years before I got a check where it was rivaling what I used to make from skateboarding.
Really?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I used to make pretty good money from being a pro skateboarder. Like, I lived a life of
excess.
Fucking idiot. Yeah, just like no
like
money
many
in the
Australians.
Bank. Just everything I had, I just bought.
You were just drunk as fuck.
Shiny shit, fucking coke, hookers, the whole thing.
Right.
Fully.
That's interesting because I always like from my BMX rider perspective, a guy with a radio show is probably going to make more money than almost every pro vert rider in the BMX world. I don't know how skateboarding lines up in that regard, but.
Well, skateboarders they do decent, and I was around for X Games and shit, so I had some DC sponsorships and stuff, and then I started announcing at X Games, and people were paying me more to do that than fucking skateboard.
Really?
So, yeah, like DC gave me some crazy deal, and then ESPN gave me some crazy deal as well. For a minute there, I was making, for skateboarders, for vert dudes, I was up there.
Right.
So then I went to radio, and I had a girlfriend, she got pregnant. She was like, I want to have the baby. I'm like, okay. So become an adult. That was kind of, and so giving up skateboarding and going for radio to try and make a career it was kind of like what I had to do.
Right.
And I felt like I had the ability. I really felt like it was going to work out. But as I said, it was a long time before they paid me like money.
Right.
But then when I started to make money and the show got really big, they weren't trying to talk about it, but it was pretty apparent from the fans that I had something going. There were people naming their kids after me, tattoos everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I do Ellis Mania. There was like 3,000 people watching a comedy boxing event. And I'm like, man, there's more people watching than I think. And then I started telling them, like, I want way more money.
And that's what kind of fucked it up?
No, they gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I made a shit ton of money for a minute there. And then I was telling them about, podcasting, what you guys are doing. I was watching you guys. I'm like, this is the future. I'm like, we got to get on track. We got to get little edits and stuff to post on social media. And they just wouldn't do it.
And so, okay, SiriusXM, when I think about it, do you feel like you were kind of on the wrong side of history in a way where they were trying to create this like walled garden that nobody could penetrate and our content is worth so much and we're going to exclude it to this little tiny thing that people have to pay for? Now, that is a business model that works quite well. It's just usually people are doing the payment through Patreon, through OnlyFans, whatever, Twitch.
That's why our Patreon does good, because SiriusXM people found it easy to subscribe to a paid service.
Right.
They didn't know what podcasting was, which is crazy to know. But a lot of SiriusXM listeners are still just finding out that you can listen and watch a podcast on your phone.
Right. Because I would think that the SiriusXM crowd is a lot of like hardcore normies.
Yeah.
Like just the real salt of the earth people that maybe aren't thinking about the internet. They're slightly more evolved than the radio listener, which is the real bottom of the barrel. No offense, but that's
all the owners of SiriusXM are from radio. That's
Right.
why they got that business model. They won't break what they just know how to do this one thing.
But when that business model first emerged, when you first heard about, oh, Howard Stern's doing this big deal or whatever.
I was already on before Stern
Oh,
came.
before Stern.
Yeah.
So what year?
I don't know. I'm bad with that. I hit my head a lot.
Okay. But you know, when that came out, it seemed like, oh, this maybe this is the future, you know?
Yeah, I remember people saying this is going to be a good thing for you that he moved to SiriusXM, and I was like, cool. But it did. You know, in the end, I was on his show 4 times, and that fucking helped
Really?
a lot. Yeah, because I killed it on there, and then all their fans were like, oh, he has a show on SiriusXM, just a click of the dial, and a lot of their humor was similar to mine, and I really believe he helped me a lot. I am forever grateful to him and SiriusXM. I wouldn't have, I moved to Patreon, and in a week I had more than like a lot of people that have been doing podcasts for 10 years because SiriusXM subscribers were like, oh, he left. I'm fucking doing this thing. The podcast is just, I can tell people like, I've never heard of you. I saw you on Ryan Sickler's podcast, The Honeydew, and now I think you're cool. I'm like, people think I just started podcasting like a year ago.
Right. Because you were like, even if we go search your fucking old content on YouTube, we're not going to find all these like little highlights. I'm sure you had great
They
moments
won't even
over the
give me
years.
the old stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, what are you going to do with it? They're like, nothing. I'm like, just put it up for free. Like, I don't even want to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Just don't let it die. Yeah. It's been almost 2 years.
Does it feel like you were just sort of slaving away at this on this planet?
I was getting bummed out.
And you became bigger and bigger and bigger on that planet. But then meanwhile, then you just get kicked off the planet and you got to go live on this other planet.
Yeah.
And it's like some of the clout from that planet carries over, but not
enough.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But I am one of those people where this is not my first time where I've been kicked in the dick for no reason.
Right.
I know the how to get out of this, and it's get off your fucking ass and hustle, get creative, let's go.
Right.
And I've never been happier because in the end, I had people working there that I could not stand, and they were there every day. Now in podcasting, it's just me and my friends, man.
Right.
I have a guest on, I pick the guest.
Yeah.
Like the reason he's on is because I want to fucking talk to you. You know, it's not like there was many a time where somebody comes in and they don't even want to talk to me because there's some huge celebrity, and I'm like, what are you guys doing to me?
Really?
Yeah.
So
Several times.
you would get big fucking names on there and get horrible interviews with them?
Yeah. Not all the time, but sometimes people will come in with this fucking, who's the guy, the comedian, I love that I don't know his name right now, the guy that's in with Will Smith when they're in the fucking gun show, they did 2 of them, the funny black guy that kind of got fat and lost his mind for a little bit. Huh? Who? Yeah, Bad Boys. Who's the other guy? Martin Lawrence.
He got fat.
He got fat for a little bit. He got like big cheeks. I don't know.
Right.
Leave him alone. He came on and he seemed like something real bad had happened to him recently, or that he didn't like me, or that he just seemed really bummed out.
Right.
And he came in with all these boys, and we did this interview where, a couple times I looked around like, what? Does he need to leave? Like, what the fuck is this?
Should I mention at this time that I've never seen Bad Boys?
Are you not what the fuck? Why would you not do
I
that?
haven't seen many movies.
You don't like movies?
Eh.
Fuck, you're a weird dude. I did not know how weird you were.
Too long.
Too long.
Too confusing. I always get confused. I just seen that new Batman. I had no idea. I had
you
no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. Did you watch the new Jackass?
No.
I mean, I haven't seen
Jackass
it.
3 is one of the least funny movies I've ever seen in my life. Really spoiled the whole thing. I can't imagine watching another one.
Was
but
that the glove, the big hand hitting everybody and shit?
I don't remember because I kind
Did
of
it have the
erased it
fat
from my
guy
memory.
and Wee Man do the bungee rope jump off the bridge?
Like I said.
Because that was hilarious.
I thought 3 was one of the most depressing things I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, you're odd. What's a funny comedy movie to you? Like, what's one movie that you like?
Half baked, she said.
That is a.
I don't watch a lot of movies.
So you don't have a
definitely
favorite
not a lot
movie?
of funny movies.
Do you like Casino?
I don't. What is that? It's like one of
The
those old mob
movie.
movies. I can't really remember which one that was.
Do you like what's like a legendary movie?
I never seen Star Wars. That's one
Star
thing
Wars
I've been
is.
thinking
I don't
about.
like Star Wars. I
Thinking
mean, I
about
watched it when I
trying
was a
that
kid, but Luke Skywalker's a bitch.
Right.
It's just so not convincing that
I don't really
this
know
is
who
the
that
guy.
is. I know it's
you don't
the
know
main
who Luke
character.
Skywalker is.
Well, I know he's the main character, or one of them.
That's all you know.
I
How old are
never
you?
seen it. I'm 38.
What's your beef with history? Hey,
I just
you
don't,
laughed.
I just
Fuck
don't
it.
really get the movie thing. They just seem boring to me.
Is it? Are you so in what is happening today that you only like little clips that go for 40 seconds?
I battle with that a little
Okay.
bit sometimes.
So TikTok is your favorite movie.
No, I don't look at TikTok.
TikTok is bad.
I just don't look at it personally.
Should I not be on TikTok?
You can do whatever you want.
No,
If
but
you're
I'm
trying to
asking
stay
you
in
'cause
touch with these kids, you might as well, right?
Okay, you're the future. You know what's happening. I don't. I'm just old man Witherby here trying to get in with you guys. Come on, man. Let me be a
Once in
friend.
a blue, I'll fire up TikTok and spend like 20 minutes looking at it,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But it doesn't really like drive me to do it more of it, you know.
Yeah, I don't really like posting. I just like watching stuff. That's where I get my news.
That's part of what bothers me is that we have 1.5 million followers, and I don't even know how to post on it. I feel like I should learn,
You have 1.5 million.
and I never touched it. Yeah,
You're so cool.
I've never posted.
You don't even care how good you are.
No, I just hired someone to do it.
Who do you think's better, you at BMX or me at skateboarding?
Considering you're a pro skateboarder, probably you.
Right. I just wanted to establish that in the room.
However, you were significant in an area of skateboarding in which the current generation of skateboarders don't really give a fuck about, right?
Oh, yeah, no, the king of nothing? Yeah. Yeah, I gave myself that name several times, yeah.
All right. From my perspective, like as a BMX rider, I remember there was a moment, and I was a street rider, so vert was just kind of this thing that I would like observe.
You never
peripherally.
rode it?
No, absolutely
Not one
never.
time?
Hell no. Of course
Why not?
It's huge. I'm not dropping in on that shit.
Right.
Yeah. But it just never intrigued me at all. And but I would always observe and pay attention to it and stuff. And I remember like sort of realizing like, oh, it's always old guys winning. And that means that it's dying. And that's bad for the future of this sport. And like
Yeah.
and the more I realized like, oh, there's nobody who's in their early 20s who's relevant in this world. Whereas
Yeah.
if you look at street, it's like mostly people who are in their early mid 20s, you know?
Same as skateboarding.
Yeah, and that
But not
and,
now.
And even really, you have popping young
Dude,
bird
it's
guys now?
crazy now.
I
There's
don't.
a whole
I don't know.
new-
I don't think we do.
That's another reason why I like skateboarding, because when I left skateboarding, it was also like there were rumors that I was half a gay guy, so that was not a good look.
But that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then when I came back 20 years later, there's like gay skateboard teams.
Yeah.
So nobody hates me for being half a homo. So it's a way more pleasant environment, and that means that not only are they okay with homos, but they're okay with street guys, park guys, vert guys. Street dudes think vert dudes are good again.
But do you think that open-mindedness is just like a marketing scheme that the leftist skateboard media
Oh
is
my
forcing upon people? Because don't you feel like the real heart of skateboarding is still like angsty, angry,
No.
not accepting of anything?
No, I feel like things have changed.
That's interesting.
Fucking.
Because if you were to try to tell me
You
that
think skateboarding got pulled in by the media?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think that people want to push this narrative that people are more open-minded and progressive than they actually are.
Well, what I've gathered, but I'm not really in it anymore. So you know what? I don't really know. I just know my scene is a lot more accepting. You know, I got Danny Way, who at one point was not okay with that, and now is. We've had several conversations and apologized, whatnot, and we've moved past it because people grow up, they get older, they realize that it's not a choice. This is just who I am.
Have you seen a Gifted Hater?
Nah.
Oh.
Is that a movie?
No, he's a YouTuber.
I was gonna say.
Greatest skateboarding commentator of all time.
No, he's not.
Yes.
Okay.
He makes YouTube videos talking about skateboarding with a level of honesty that I've never seen anyone ever put out there.
What's his name?
Gifted Hater. I have no idea. I never talked to him or anything, but his videos are the fucking best. And there needs to
Talking
be
shit.
Yes, but it's like so well done, and so his arguments are so airtight that it's like I really feel like my whole time paying attention to BMX and skateboarding, I've never seen anybody who like is so good at getting their point across. And he actually brutally talks shit about some people that I'm friends with who probably might see this clip and be mad at me for giving him his props. But hey, here we are.
Is he being sarcastic a little bit?
Yes.
Good.
Well, not even really.
He's just
more
being
just
a
like
roaster.
factual. Yeah.
Okay.
But he attacks a lot of skateboarding institutions. I'll probably
Like
never.
what?
I'll never be allowed at the barracks.
Like what?
Well, the barracks. Let's start there.
What's bad about the barracks?
No, I'll leave it.
I mean,
to
what
him.
did he say? Not you.
I'll leave it to him. I don't want to be the one sort of pushing his narrative. But
Oh, I didn't know there was a bad thing.
when I
about
first
skate
saw
parks.
him, I realized, oh, everybody else who talks about skateboarding on camera is blowing it because this is the real shit right here.
Did you hear Todd Richards talk in the Olympics in snowboarding where he talked shit on the judges and then the judges changed the score for his next run and he won?
No,
That was fucking awesome.
not much of a snowboarder
Live.
guy, but that
Me
happened.
neither.
Right.
But it was still, I'm friends with Todd Richards because he skateboarded a lot and I've snowboarded with him. But he's a awesome dude, the announcer, and some Japanese dude did a ride. And Todd Richards is just flat out on the mic saying that this judge that gave him this score shouldn't be judging and blah, blah, blah. Like I've been snowboarding my whole life, is what he says. And he's like, that's the best ride ever done in the history of contest. And he should be scored way higher than
And
that.
the judges changed their score to match what the commentator was saying.
That was the American judge that was fucking over the Japanese guy. And then the second ride, the Japanese guy made a ride again as good as that one, and he's changed his score.
Wow.
And it was just, I just thought, you're on national television and you didn't ask anybody what came out of your mouth. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, can he? I thought it was legendary because that dude got a gold medal in the Olympics because Todd Richards spoke facts and everybody recognized it. And even the judge was like, fuck, I'm being outed.
Every once in a while, somebody comes along and says some true shit in action sports that actually changes shit, because there's this whole sort of, I've heard people describe it as toxic positivity in a lot of like these communities where there's this idea of like, oh, if you're critical of anything that's going on in this culture, then you're a hater. Yeah. And if you just like say, oh, that's great, awesome job about everything, then you're positive and that's smiled upon. But it's really crazy when you think about it, because let's take hip hop, for example. I mean, there's me and there's like 20 other people that you could name off the top of your head who will gladly make a YouTube video or a podcast just absolutely going in on something that a mainstream rapper does. Yeah. And it's not really like an incentive for me to hold my tongue about Nicki Minaj or whatever. Yeah. But in comparison, in skateboarding or BMX, there's whack shit happening constantly that nobody fucking will even acknowledge, because the media just wants to make money from advertisers, so they're scared shitless of having an opinion.
It just seems played out to hate. It's so boring. Like
No.
when I think about I'm trying to think of a skateboarder that you could be like, you know what, man, that guy makes way too much money for how good he is.
Nigel. Well, I'm just saying
he's not. Yeah,
he's
really
the number
good.
one target.
But he's really good.
Okay.
So that doesn't. Is there an argument where he doesn't deserve what he's really good? Like maybe he might be the best dude in the world.
But there's shit that's more important than being good, right?
Oh, you mean he's an asshole?
Well, I don't even know that. I'm just saying that, like, okay, if Nigel was a rapper, if Nigel was Travis Scott, I mean, there is absolutely no shortage within hip hop of people having conversations about, is his music good? Is he a good person? How he's living his life? Is he real? Etc. Like, all these are valid conversations to be having. Yeah. But meanwhile, in skateboarding, it's like, oh, he's good at skateboarding, so nobody should ever say anything about him, which is so unbelievably stupid.
I've heard people talk shit on him.
Yeah.
He's done something bad, I heard. That people were
those leggings that he wears.
Yeah, it was a.
I mean, that just can't go undiscussed, right?
It's just when you're really good, it's like rock stars wear like weird pants and shit, and it's just accepted.
Well, rock stars are fucking lame too.
Yeah, but
you don't look at Motley Crue and think like, holy shit, these dudes really drank their own Kool-Aid.
But you don't think at one point being in Motley Crue would have been pretty awesome?
It probably would have been pretty dope, but if I was in Motley Crue, I would have wished that there were YouTube comments so that I could know how gay I actually was. No offense.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks.
How do you feel about my colloquial use of the word gay that I have a hard time shaking?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
My straight side accepts it.
Right.
But my gay side is a little hurt.
I'm trying to take gay back.
I have it.
I'm from New England, dude. Like, we that was every other word growing up.
I don't mind. I feel like the F-bomb is a little different.
Oh, God. I heard someone say it the other day in like a business setting, and it blew my mind. I'm like, holy fuck, that just sounded so offensive in this scenario.
Yeah, it's a weird... That one will still... I'll definitely contemplate what that person is about when they do that. I'm like, oh...
Yeah, like, where's that coming from?
Yeah. Is that a real thing, or are you just like from the streets?
Even if it doesn't sound homophobic, it sounds so angry.
Yeah.
It just sounds so aggressive.
Yeah. I don't even like it when gay people call themselves that. Weird. Sometimes gay people want you to say that. I'm like, get someone else to do it.
Do you feel like you jive with the gay community for the most part? Like, I feel like aesthetically, maybe you just like don't really like seem like you would be, you know, spending a lot of time at gay bars. Describe this for me.
Yeah, well, one, I'm old, so I don't really want to go out. What the fuck?
I've been to some gay bars. They got some old heads out there.
Oh yeah,
having a good old time.
No, we're living it. Don't even worry. It's just I don't drink, I don't take drugs, so there's that too. But I'm completely accepted by the gay community. I'm just not. I'm just way more straight. I hang out with straight dudes.
Really?
I skate and I go to the gym and kick people in the face. There's not a lot of gay talk when you're trying to punch somebody in the head.
Because it's got to be weird to be a bisexual person who's like married to a woman and not really like exhibiting anything that would make it obvious that you're gay on a day-to-day basis. Like, do you almost kind of feel like a phony when you even say it?
No, you should see me suck dick.
But I've seen people talk shit about that. Like,
gay as fuck.
Like, oh, you say you're bi, but you're married to a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? Like,
well, she's bi too, so
right.
You know, a lot of times it's, you know, she's gaying out and I'm hanging out being the dick in the room.
Yesterday when I was out riding and I said, I'm like, I'm interviewing Jason Ellis tomorrow, and one of my friends said, he goes,
who's that?
No. One of my friends used to listen on Sirius all the time, and he watched our podcast or whatever, and he goes, hey, do you think he like meets dudes and brings them home to his chick? Like, hey, let's fuck this dude together? And I'm like, I have no idea.
We used to do that.
Really? It's just, it's happened?
And girls, she would do the same thing. But it's always this, we found that when you do that particular technique, the guy's into one of us, or the girl's into one of us. And then it becomes this odd one out thing, and we just got sick of it. It was very rare that somebody was just completely bi.
Right.
And was invested in fucking both of us. So now it's more like we just have partners, and it's usually separate unless we have friends that are a married couple, 2 girls, and whenever they're in town, that pops off.
It goes down.
Yeah.
Is it weird having these orgies and whatnot if you're not getting fucked up? I felt like that was a big part of it at one point.
No, I think there was a transition for a while to get used to being sober.
Right.
But once I got, I got a lot of therapy and shit and became happy with existing, because I had to be high all the time. Otherwise, I was just fucking angry and dark.
Really?
So now I'm happy. No, I mean, I still smoke weed all the time, but I don't need to be gone, you know, like out of myself. I actually don't like that.
Right.
Anymore. I used to only want to be in that.
Having gotten so used to doing the on-camera threesomes.
Yeah.
Doing it off camera now to me seems like such a bizarre sort of like intimate waste of time. Like,
waste of time. You can't say that at the end of that sentence.
It does. It just feels like it would be such a weird use of my Friday night for, instead of me and my girl kicking it, for me and my girl to like go off on some mission into another girl's vagina. I don't know. I just feel kind of like disconnected from that.
Yeah, well, I don't do a lot of my stuff on camera, so it's different.
You might want to keep it more pure. But I feel like that whole thing that I had in my head for years and years of like wanting to get pussy, like somehow doing it on camera kind of like stripped the allure away in a way.
That's a bit sad.
No.
Well, I guess unless you keep getting it. You do enjoy it when it's on camera though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But it's like, it's kind of like, okay, you're a kid, you love skateboarding. Then you learn everything about it. You meet every single person. You learn exactly how the industry works. And then your view of it is like, okay, maybe I still love this thing, but I certainly don't view it as this like awe-inspiring, simple thing in a way. Like you start to realize like, oh, that guy who has a photo in the magazine has a photo for a reason. Like the sponsors want that photo there or whatever. You know, in music, it's even more obscene how it's just like, you just realize so quickly, like, oh, that guy has 4 million plays on that song because he just signed to this label and they made it get 4 million plays. This doesn't really, it's not like he's really popular. You know, it's like when it comes to sex, I've kind of like just like seen behind the veil so much that the idea of like meeting a girl and like courting her just seems so foreign to me at this point.
Oh yeah, that seems difficult.
Yeah.
Like if I ever have a girl that wants to sleep with me, it involves like some kind of date before sex, that's probably not going to happen anymore. So I'm like,
that sounds like cheating. If I were your girl, I'd be pissed at you for going to dinner with a girl.
What? Okay.
Like you could fuck her.
See, when she sleeps with guys, she needs to really like them. She's not like just a walking dick like I am.
Right.
You know, I mean, I can hook up with any girl. Anybody can suck me off as long as they don't have an STD.
Really? And sometimes
really.
even if they do, right?
Unfortunately. I didn't even know you could do that. Did you know you could do that? You know you can get an STD from a blowjob? I did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Whoops.
You feel like you'll be like exploring sexually till you're 87 fucking years old or what?
I don't know how much longer my body will last. Maybe my dick won't work or something, and then I don't know. I do a lot of butt stuff now, and I didn't know much about that until recently, and now that seems to be pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about that.
Your butt?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's probably the wrong show to talk
Shit
about.
fits in there? That's crazy.
Shit comes out of there.
I recently had to have a doctor fucking jam his fingers in there with a rubber glove during
I
my
got a
prostate
colonoscopy
thing.
2 days ago.
I got that a couple years ago too, yeah.
Why'd you get it so early?
Because I forget. I think I went to a doctor and they tested my food or something, and then they ended up saying like, "Oh, we want to figure out what's going on." I forget.
But you're okay?
Yeah.
Good. I think I'm okay.
About as okay as I could be after having a fucking doctor shove his fingers in my ass. I really didn't.
That's
like
weird
that.
for you?
I hated it.
Girls do that to you?
My girl tried one time. It felt weird. I was like, "No, get the hell out of here."
Yeah. Each to their own, you know?
Yeah.
At first, I couldn't do it. My wife was trying to do it for like 6 months. Give me a glass of wine and a Xanax. Try to put a finger in my ass. And I'm
Those
like,
two things together, if my girl gave me a glass of wine and a Xanax, you're probably going to have a fucking paperwork party in my butthole because I'm going to be out like a light.
Hey.
I'm not going to know what the fuck's going on.
Well, it wasn't happening. Took a long time. I've been working on it hard.
Look how hard he's laughing. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's weird you being gay and straight because it's kind of like you get how weird it is for straight guys to hear that. Like you understand how, like I think about that with myself. Like I consider myself so open-minded when it comes to sexuality and stuff, but then when I see guys kissing in a movie, my gut instinct is to look away.
Yeah, weird.
My girl's like, you're
I
a
felt the
homophobe.
same way.
I'm like, no, I'm not. I just don't want to see that.
I felt it took a long time for me to get used to that. I feel like that's the last thing that I could deal with when it came to gaying out. The hardest thing for me to do would be to kiss a guy.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the gayest shit ever.
Yeah.
But I'm okay now. I'll kiss dudes.
That's good.
Fuck off.
Wait, but so you told me this when I was in there doing the interview with you. You said, because I pointed at one of your books, and I'm like, oh, nice. You got a book. And you're like, well, I actually wrote 2 books. First one was about skateboarding in my life, and that was a bestseller. Yeah. And then the second one was about being gay, and it was not.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think the SiriusXM listeners were a little bit more blue collar and maybe not ready for Jason to do that to him. A lot of people got bummed out about it.
I assume you have a lot of like truck driver fans.
Yeah.
Really?
Not as many
That's true.
as I used to have.
They were out with the gay shit?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Fuck those truckers.
That's all right. I get it. You just, people are, you just said you get grossed out when 2 dudes make out in a movie. Well, maybe truck driver fucking Benny in his truck doesn't want to hear about Ellis sucking dicks.
I'm not going to stop listening to some of these podcasts because I know that they used to suck dick. Also, those truckers, they might just be mad about the mandates.
I didn't do those.
And that was a while before, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure.
I can't. I just got to be me.
I wonder what are those truckers listening to?
Probably,
Rogan.
Oh, yeah. Well, only if they can. Oh, wait, it's on Spotify now, so they can figure it out.
Yeah.
It's an old school kind of way that people listen to stuff in trucks. Like, it could be difficult for some people to know how to download a podcast, believe it or not.
Yeah. Some people are unbelievably stupid, but also just sort of stubborn because.
Yeah. That's more. I think that's a more appropriate.
I started podcasting because of Joe Rogan, roughly. You know, like his shit just inspired me to start doing sort of the same thing in my lane.
Yeah.
And then Joe Rogan moved to Spotify, and I think that was almost 2 years ago. And I just watched my first Joe Rogan Spotify interview. He finally interviewed somebody that I know that I actually like had to listen. But it's kind of crazy to me, even as someone who's very like hyper aware of my own media consumption habits, and I know how easy it is to log into Spotify on my TV and watch shit on there. Somehow, stuff not being on YouTube, just like it's not in my line of vision. Like, I just don't think about Joe Rogan's podcast the same way that I did when it was just sitting there floating in my YouTube inbox. And
Just
I feel like a lot of
right?
people are like that though. Like it's hard to switch platforms. Like I have a company right now fucking offering us a bunch of money to live stream our live podcast on another platform.
Yeah.
And I looked at the amount of money they said, and I was like, I wouldn't do it for fucking 20 times that amount. Like,
why not?
Being on YouTube just means so much to me. That's where the audience is at.
Okay.
That's where the growth comes from.
I'm terrible on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, compared to my radio career, I'm a dog shit.
You gotta get them clips going.
I think my head's too old or something. It's just
Pause.
over.
Pause. You ever have a girl tell you you have old school head?
No. Fucking... What the fuck does that mean?
I've told a girl that she gives head like it's still the 90s. Over and over and over, actually, many times throughout my life.
Because they weren't as good back then?
That's how you get a girl to give you really, really good sloppy dome. You tell them you still suck dick like it's 1995.
If you offend them to get a better blowjob.
But you say it in like a joking way, like you're not trying to hurt their feelings.
Okay, right.
But then you're kind of like, oh, you give an
yeah.
old school head. That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
then they rise to the occasion, at least from my experience.
I'll remember that. Thank you.
I mean, head has come a long way.
Yeah, I guess I never realized that, but you're right. People do go for it a lot more.
And well, that's one thing I realized from doing the plug talk thing is that sometimes I get head from a girl who's like literally just like,
Who's a professional?
Right, but they don't want to like, and sometimes the girl, she'll deep throat it and then take that shit and be wiping it all over her face within the first 5 seconds. And I'm like, oh my God, there are really levels to this shit. Like, these two things should not even be considered the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now recalling is different. Yep. I've had blowjobs with 3 people and one person's a beast and the other 2 are not. And every time it came to that one, I'd be like,
yeah.
Oh shit. Different kind of beast.
And even doing the plug talk thing, there was one girl who she had a tiny mouth. She seems like she gives great head on camera, but in reality, her teeth were making contact with my dick the entire time.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool. And you got to keep going. You can't say, I'll say something if your teeth are scratching me. I got to say
because you're
something.
doing it off camera, I got to fucking thug it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done some stuff on camera before. You know what? One time I got a blowjob from what is it when you do a blow bang? So she was hanging upside down from hooks on her knees, and
What the fuck?
she was sucking off 3 guys. And at one point she was sucking me off, and then she pushed away from me, and swang away and swang towards me like this. And I was like, "Oh my God!" It did scratch a little bit, but not. And you're right, I didn't say anything.
Where were you? What was this situation?
In a garage. It was very professional.
How do you find out about these sort of situations?
I got friends in the industry, and every now and then they're like, "Can we use your stunt dick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." At one point, I had a wig on and I had leather gloves, so you couldn't see my tattoos, and I was leather glove man.
Wow.
Yeah, but now I don't. I'm on OnlyFans, fucking my wife and shit. I don't care. Blah.
You don't have your own OnlyFans. You're just
I
on
do,
hers.
but I don't tell anybody.
Oh, because you have to tag it.
Yeah, no, I just had it because I want to do it. I just have kids, and I don't want everybody to think. I don't know. Like what you do, I want to do that.
Right.
I just am not ready to tell my kids that I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But I want to. I don't want to do it. I know you're going to get weird about it, but I don't really want to do it for money. I just would like.
No, I feel that.
I like being stunt dick. It's cool.
Because I'm definitely doing it for money, but also it's like
It's fun, right?
it would be so easy to not do it, and money-wise, shit would probably realistically be pretty much the same. But it is fun.
Right.
So
It seems cool as hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be so pumped on your job.
It's so weird to me that you've actually like watched all those Plug Talk episodes.
Yeah, I don't really. I don't want to. I'm not sexually attracted to anybody who's my friend.
Okay.
So don't worry about it.
You kind of said that when I was doing your podcast, and I felt like I was like, oh man, Like, does he feel like he has to say this like a lot
No.
to people?
No, even if you're a friend and you try to gay out on me, we're not doing it. Like, I can't do it.
Right.
It's something about we were friends first, and it just doesn't feel right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it just seems to. With a girl, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm your friend and you're like, hey, what's up with that dick? How about let me call my wife and see what's up with that dick?
Wow. So you got to ask permission first?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What if she's having a bad day?
She says no.
Really?
Yeah.
And does that ever like piss you off?
Yeah.
Like, damn,
Yes, it does.
I got this shit all lined up and you're going to say no because you're having a bad day? I'm having a
Or
great day.
sometimes it might be like somebody that might be too potentially
Too hot?
kinda. No,
Really?
no, I'm not. Just more like if she's really up my alley, then it's like maybe not. I don't know.
Right.
I just get to do so much stuff. Obviously not on the level as you, but I think we're both pretty lucky when it comes to dick tricks. And I when I get shut down, I go whatever. It's not like I didn't just do several other things last week, you know.
Damn, so you're out here wilding. Because I'm only doing shit on camera. Other than that, my life's pretty boring.
Yeah, my wife's pretty into it. Off camera, on camera. She's all about going crazy on that dick.
Sometimes I feel like me and my girl are kind of like LARPing as real deal sexual deviants because we kind of like get all of our, you know, weird sexual desire stuff out on camera for the most part.
Yeah, it's kind of healthy,
Yeah,
I think, anyway.
in theory.
Especially if you're both into it. If you both had fun, what is wrong with that?
Right.
You know, it'd be different if your wife was like, oh God, yeah, okay, if it makes you happy,
Yeah.
then that's a problem.
But that, when I look back on it, early in our relationship, it was kind of like this sort of unsaid thing. And when I say unsaid, I mean like I would probably actually say it, but where I would be like trying to like get her to holler at girls in public when we were at parties, or like I would start talking to a girl and get her number and start trying to line it up. And like, you know, the incentives were kind of different because she like, we'd just start dating. She's like happy to have this boyfriend. But then meanwhile, I'm trying to get all this freaky shit going, and we weren't always like totally aligned on it. Whereas with us lining up the plug talk thing, it's happening in such a controlled environment. And I think also like over and over throughout the years, she's seen me where even the hottest girls, I clearly just don't give a shit emotionally or whatever. And it's like, she's never felt like I did anything that was like me being romantic or flirty with the girls. So I
can
feel
relate
like
to that.
She doesn't really worry
At
about
this
it.
point in the game, she knows that I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So now it's more, fuck that chick or fuck that guy, whatever.
Right. I always wonder if me and her will get old and kind of get to that point where we just like care less, and maybe like then we're just like seeing other people. I wonder if like our relationship could ever get to that point or withstand that.
I mean, if you love each other and if it's going to get your partner off and you know that, that's where I stand on it. You know, maybe sometimes I don't like it because I'm like, man, I'd rather that guy didn't fuck my wife, but she likes him and he's hot. And if it was the other way around, because that's how I look at it, I'm like, if some chick's real hot and she wants to fuck me and she doesn't let me, I'm like,
What if he's got a porn dick? Like
So do I.
But like that,
oh, like 12 inches?
you know, like some stupid size
I
dick.
would just want to know. This is probably part of my gay side, but I would want to know what it's like. I'm like,
Let me
man,
get
what's
some of
that
that
like?
too. You know who Brian Pumper is?
Nah.
Okay.
Was that a gay joke?
No, he's like a male porn star that I just always bring him up.
Oh. Has he got a big dick?
Yeah.
Pumper. Sounds like he's...
Not his real name.
Yeah. I figured that.
From Long Island. I made a whole video about him. You should check it out, honestly.
Do you watch his shit?
Actually, no. Even all hours and hours and hours of research I did into making this video about
Did
him,
research about him?
I don't think I ever actually watched any of his porn, no.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it's a bit gay.
I actually fucked a girl on Plug Talk where I was asking her, did you ever, it clicked in my head. I'm like, you're 45 years old. Did you ever fuck Brian Pumper? She goes, yeah, all the time. I'm like, ah!
Oh, it's bad that his penis was there first?
No, it's amazing.
Okay, so you like him.
You got to watch the video. We'll do another podcast once you watch the Brian Pumper video.
Shit. All right.
So okay. Shit.
I got to watch Brian Pumper when I get home.
Yes,
Great.
you do.
Okay.
Clip that. So now, like when you left Sirius,
Yeah.
Was your game plan like, okay, I'm going to start my own podcast? Or was it like, fuck, maybe I'll start my own podcast? Like, what was the idea there?
Yeah, no, fuck, I got to start my own podcast.
Did they make it so you couldn't start one for a little while?
No.
Okay.
No, I built my studio in 4 days.
Wow.
And we started recording the next week.
Right.
Because I had people, Bert Kreischer hit me up and was like, get your show back up. That's what you got to do.
Right.
So I had a lot of advice. Brennan Schaub, a lot of people called when that happened and gave me advice because I didn't know anything about how to do this, dude. I just didn't. I got paid to not pay attention to podcasting. So when it dropped, I was like, oh my God, I got to do it. How do you do it? What's the best way? Who do I, wait, you're saying that I need to sign with somebody to get sponsorship? Shitty deal. Just go, get on the air. And I was like, let's just get back and rebuild. And then when I get things bigger, then we'll sort the rest of it out. That's kind of the game plan.
Interesting. Yeah, because were you ever doing content where you'd be talking for an hour straight on Sirius?
I used to talk by myself for 4 hours a day.
But isn't it all split up with music in between?
I used to talk for an hour, play 2 songs, an hour, 2 songs.
An hour just talking to yourself?
Yeah.
See, honestly, as a broadcaster, that's like the one thing that I feel like I've never really figured out how to do because I've always just talked to other people, and that's easy for me. I like having someone I can kind of bounce back and forth with. But there's a lot of different people who sit on Twitch and maybe they're playing video games or maybe they're just talking to the camera, maybe they're pulling up windows and looking at shit. But I don't know. I feel like it's such a challenge for me to keep the conversation with myself going. Yeah. And I would like to know what it would be like, especially, well, that's weird because you don't have that feedback. At least when I'm on Twitch or whatever, I have the chat right there. So
I had phone calls.
Right.
But it wasn't as telling as what you had, for sure.
Would you find it really like taxing emotionally or just your energy level?
Yeah, because I pour my heart out.
Right.
It meant so much to me. That's how I got away with it. That's how it was somewhat interesting because every hour I gave everything I had. I'd be tired after the show.
Right.
But it's all I wanted to do, man. It's all I wanted that to be good.
Putting it like that, though, it feels so fucked up that you don't have access to that old catalog because that would kill me if I lost access to the old interviews that we did.
I try not to kill myself with stuff like that.
Right. Well,
this is just life, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And they're the kind of people that will drag it. They're still telling me they're going to give it to me.
Really?
I just don't ask because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about their shit ever again.
Really?
Appreciate it, but fuck off. You know what I mean? You left me fucking high and dry over here. I get it, whatever business, but I got shit to worry about over here, and I have no energy for that. I'm 50, man. I wake up tired. I still skate. I train, and I wake up, I'm like, podcast. You know what I mean? Like, fucking say something fucking amusing. Please, gods, fucking give me the ability to get back where I was.
Right.
It's all I think about.
Why did they can you, from your perspective? Like, what were you doing that made them want to get rid of you? Was your popularity dwindling? Or?
I think I don't know about that. I can't tell if it's I think maybe a little bit because, as I said, the whole homo thing didn't help anybody.
But I bet that platform in general is kind of.
But
shrinking,
I also
right?
feel like that, the platform itself, because I know from starting the podcast, I have a lot of people that reach out to me going, "Man, I haven't heard you since." You know, when I dropped Sirius fucking 8 years ago or something, so a lot of people had dropped it,
right?
But now it's like, dude, it's starting again. Like I said, SiriusXM, it's 15 years. It was 8 years before I started to be anybody there, so I feel like here we fucking go again. Really,
right?
I got little bonuses like doing the podcast with Tony Hawk. That doesn't hurt. Little, I'm trying to do show. This is fucking big for me, dude. Like, you're really helping me.
Being on here?
Somebody might consider listening to my fucking show.
It's quite possible.
You're my Howard Stern now.
Oh, God.
I get on here and a couple people check me out.
God, Howard Stern was such a big influence on me back in the day.
Me too, man.
It's crazy.
That's all I knew.
He became such a fucking cuck loser.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
What happened to him?
I don't know. Even the people around him at one point, because I was in there for a little bit of the heyday. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was, we don't want to have you back on again. I'm like, you invited me the last 2 times.
Right.
What happened? I got a new book. And they're like, yeah, things are just crazy here now. There's this new chick. She's in charge and she's dropping all these people and she's making this happen and that happen. And I think it's like a business move where they said, look, if you start going this angle, you can get bigger guests. And, the whole, I like Ellen DeGeneres now after shitting on her for 10 years.
Yeah.
I just think it was a career move, and he wants to be successful over anything. He'll do anything to stay successful. Fame is, I mean, he's one of those people where I don't think he'll live much longer when he retires.
Yeah.
I think he's like a Don Imus kind of a thing where he just has to tell everybody what you think, and you all have to react.
When I don't podcast for a week, I start to feel like I'm going to lose my mind / take on some new hobby that's going to consume 40 hours a week of my time.
New hobbies come flying out hard for me. If I go on vacation, I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could do, I'm like, I'll be a pro kickboxer now. I'm like, shut up.
I remember I went on a trip back in the day. I took a month and went to Florida, and this is like very young. I'm like 21 or 22, and at that time I was just riding BMX bikes and playing online poker like 40 hours a week. So
Are you good at poker?
Yes, compared to the average person, not compared to the actual good poker players. But I didn't have my computer, so I couldn't play poker. I spent the next month working on becoming a tattoo artist. Like literally every day, I would sit up for hours and hours and hours and just draw and work on drawing all the.
Can you do it?
At that time, I was starting to get my shit together a little bit, and I had a friend in New York who said that he was going to help me. He was going to let me apprentice under him and learn to use the machine and everything. And then I got back to New York and just forgot about it like immediately. But like, you know, that's an example of like, if I stop doing the thing that I'm doing, I just find some fucking other thing to fill the space.
I think that's what happened with comedy.
Yeah.
I think SiriusXM dropped me, and I was like, what can I do? Like, what other things can I do to fulfill my life? Yeah. And I was like, wait, you could go on tour. I could never have gone anywhere. Sirius is Monday to Friday. You cannot miss a day. And now I can leave on a Thursday and come back on Sunday.
Right.
I never had that option. So now, like, the sky's the limit. If I got a part in a movie, I could do it.
Right.
When there was SiriusXM, you couldn't say yes to any of that stuff.
Compare the skateboarding community to the comedy community.
Wow.
The stand-up comedy community, specifically.
I think, man, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I think comedians are pretty. I don't care about skateboarding. I am what I am, and you cannot kick me out. I have a spot. That's it. I've paid my dues.
Okay.
I can bury you, and you can fucking suck it. Even though I don't feel the need to do that. Nobody in skateboarding pisses me off. I like Andy McDonald. He used to bum me out so much with his style, and now he's a really nice guy. I like him. I like skating with him.
I used to talk so much shit about mountain bikers and rollerbladers and fixie kids.
Rollerbladers hate me still.
Oh, you went in on them too?
So I went on them fucking 20 years ago, and then somebody brought up an article about I'd rather only rollerblader that's good as a dead one or something stupid. And they're all fucking freaking out on me. And I'm like, what? Who are you?
Yeah, being that I'm more in like the music world or whatever, the podcast world now, it seems so stupid and pointless of like, you know, like we did a big ass street jam a couple months ago, and, you know, we put on the flyer, I think, like scooters and mountain bike kids, et cetera, are welcome, just to make it clear that like we don't give a fuck, like come through. Because I mean, at this point in my life, it's like, okay, if you fucking are taking like a device with wheels and you want to like grind on some shit or fly up in the air, it's like, I mean, we're all basically doing the same thing. I might like my subculture more than your subculture, and you might feel very strongly about yours. And, you know, I know fucking unicycle kids who I follow on Instagram who go out every day and do the craziest shit that I could ever imagine, and I wholeheartedly enjoy following them. You know, all that sort of closed-minded, like I do this and you do that stuff just doesn't really hit for me anymore.
I can't watch rollerblading.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to say I hate it. I just don't want to watch it.
I think it looks very fucking goofy, so I feel you that way, but I really like seeing the spots that they go to and stuff. When like a good rollerblade street section is amazing because they are riding rails that nobody could ever touch on a skateboard, and that I find very
Agree
interesting.
to disagree then.
No, but they do stuff like on spots that nobody could ever touch on a bike or a skateboard because they're just too fucking weird.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Let's get 2 Japanese kids in that are real good on vert. They fly around all the time. That's pretty cool.
How do you feel about the future of vert? Is vert alive and well?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm skating with a 9-year-old.
Pause. Well, I guess it's all right.
I'm skating with a 9-year-old girl, and she's really good at skateboarding. And she's 9, and she skates vert every day.
Really?
Yeah. So what's she going to turn out to be? Because there's already a couple of pro females now that are... I mean, they just didn't. When I was pro, there was the best vert skater was Carabeth Burnside, and she was not that good. She was okay, but now I went to a vert contest in Utah. There was 20 like 30 females, their own contest. Over 10, maybe 20 of them could skate vert legitimately.
Wow.
And they're all happy and hanging out with each other. I'm like, holy shit. You guys have a total real scene. So
skateboarding has a way better chance at actually having like a significant percentage of women participating, I think, because the BMX thing is just such a upper body oriented strength thing, I think.
I never thought of that. I didn't really BMX that much. I did a 360 over a box one time.
Really?
Yeah, I think on Ryan Nyquist's bike or something.
Shout out to Ryan Quinch.
Yeah, Nyquist, right?
Quinch.
I said it right. Why are you doing that to him?
You're saying it the right way.
Okay, good.
But yeah, but I will say though that I watched the women's Olympic event.
Yeah.
And oh my God, apparently the allure of gold medals and money or whatever the fuck comes with that has really caused a shitload of girls to get off their ass and get good at it, because I saw so many tricks that I never, ever knew. 360 backflip. I've never seen a woman do that. And I'm watching the Olympics and they're doing it like dialed. I'm like,
I'm stoked.
Fuck, this is crazy.
It's impressive as fuck. There's all kinds of little kids everywhere now that just shred and they ride vert. Like this little girl, her mum is there every day.
Right.
Because she's fucking 9.
Yeah.
How else would she get there and how else would she skate? It's this weird thing where I'm like, this mum is a legend. Like she just sits there every day, mega ramp, you name it. That mum's there every day, all day. I'm like, man, this mum is making this girl is going to be a huge star in skateboarding for sure.
It's so weird to think that the parent is actually involving themselves that much though. Like were your parents helpful at all?
No. But it's different because I've seen moto dads yell at their kids to do certain things, push them, and I don't agree with that. Man. I saw a dad yell at a dude for not jumping this double, and then he finally went for it, cased it, went over the bars. I'm like, what? Why would you tell your kid to do that if you weren't sure he was going to make it? Like my kid learned how to drop in on a quarter pipe yesterday, and I bet him $20. But if he didn't want to do it, he didn't have to do it.
Right.
It was just like, I'll give you 20 if you make it. That's as far as I go with pushing.
Yeah.
But I don't get why when people like that mum shouldn't say anything. I've never seen her say, get up there and try again. She just stays there, supports. It's very nice to all the other skateboarders because she knows that she's a mum and we're awkward about having a mum at the ramp because that's the other thing that's weird. When you fall off, you still say fuck.
Right.
She's 9. So every now and then when I'm trying to make something, I can't make it, and I'm like, fuck! And then I'm like, I mean, dang.
I'm planning on swearing around my kid. Like, my girl will probably gonna kill me if she sees this, but my girl like will be listening to a song around my kid, and my girl will be like, I'm not gonna let you play the song around her once she can speak. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, if you think that I'm gonna stop playing rap music around my kid,
you're not gonna duck it.
I'm sorry, but my kid's just gonna know all the swear words by like 3. That just seems likely.
I took my kid to the barracks, which is obviously evil, but I took him there for his birthday with his 2 friends, and they were like, "Can we play music in the car on the way?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And you would have known who they were, but I did not. But it was just fucking N-bomb pussy all day.
Right.
I'm like, and I look in the back, and I'm like, I see him mumbling. They know the fucking words.
Right.
I'm like, everybody knows.
I think about what the N-word conversation is going to be like with my kid all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
How difficult is it?
Well, like, hey, like all these songs that we listen to, there's one word in all the songs that you can't say.
Yeah.
And why? Well, that's a whole conversation.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if we're ready for that conversation right now.
It might take a little longer.
Yeah. I don't know if we're ready to get into all of
just for now, don't say it. How
all
about
of the
that?
evils that have been committed throughout history that have left us with this word that you can't say in this Jay-Z song.
I know.
It's a heavy convo.
Yeah.
You have to talk about that with your kids?
Not really. I mean, unfortunately, my son has been involved in that word, and then I got a couple of friends to talk to him about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you bring through?
It's just 2 friends of mine. One,
a couple of big scary guys met him in the alley. Like, hey,
one of them's
we heard what you've been saying.
They're both professional fighters, and they were just like, hey man, as a black guy, like when we hear that shit, this is how I feel about it. So,
right.
And he was very apologetic because he's in the fucking listening to that music.
Right.
And he got caught saying it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, do you realize the level of pain you're bringing to people with that word?
Right.
Like, do you want? Because if someone calls your dad a fag,
yeah,
that hurts me, dude.
Damn. When do you have to have that convo with them?
when they get to like teenagers.
But you already have had that
Yeah,
convo?
of course, man. They're gonna if it's out on the fucking podcast world that I'm blowing dudes.
Right.
I want them to hear it from me first.
Part of me hopes that I'm not actively fucking their mother on camera
But it
when
still
I have to
exists.
tell
You ain't
them.
getting out. What
No,
are
I
you
know, I know.
tripping?
I'm
You
just
are-
like kind of hoping that it's like a thing I used to do by the time I have to tell her about it.
okay.
I don't know if that's realistic, but
Yeah, people are gonna get weird about it, but I don't. It's, like you love each other, and you're doing this thing that you enjoy, and the person that you did it with enjoyed it.
right.
You know, it's your kids are gonna get picked on. So what?
And really, the only explanation that you need to give your kid is, I've been doing whatever I want my whole life,
Yeah,
and I was doing this before you were born, and I'm a kid. You know, it's like I genuinely don't give a shit if anyone is offended by it or thinks it's bad, and that goes for you as well. I really don't like care. Like, I'll work with you if you're upset about it. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
it, but really, ultimately, you know, I've been doing whatever I want to do my whole life. If it don't hurt anybody, then what the fuck are we talking
that's
about?
what I told my kids. And my daughter's. I don't want to get into her life, but she's very understanding of it because she's similar to me.
Yeah.
So, but it was fucking terrifying to bring it up for sure.
Right.
I was like, man, I really wish I didn't have to have this conversation. But if you're going to be open about it, you're going to have to tell your kids.
Yeah.
And they're very accepting because it's different age,
Yeah.
different environment. She has several friends that are on the LGBTQ thing.
Do they watch Euphoria?
Yep. Yeah, we all do.
Wait, how old is your kid?
17 and
okay.
13.
That's one thing that stands out to me a lot when I watch Euphoria is like, holy shit, like, would I let my kid watch this? And at what age?
They're going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Their friend's going to show it to them at school. Like, you're not going to get it. You're not going to duck it.
Yeah.
You can't. Everyone shows people, you know, I was like, kids can't watch porn. Somebody showed them porn at school.
And then she, came home and told you?
No, my son, we found out because somebody busted him watching it.
Right.
And then I had to have a talk to him about it.
Wow.
He also one time got busted. My wife found that he typed in on his iPad boobs. When he was like super little. I had to be like, dude, not yet.
But
you know?
it's weird because it's like, what do you really say? Like, you're not supposed to be looking at that. But
Yeah.
also, it's the most human, normal thing on earth for you to be curious about. That I would have a hard time like figuring out what to say to my kid in that situation.
I didn't think it was that difficult. I was just like, you know, you're not supposed to be watching that. And just for the record, when people do that stuff, that's not usually how it is. That's for movies.
Yeah.
And you're just not ready to be looking at that stuff. So it'd be healthy for you not to look at it for a long time. You know?
Yeah.
You get that, dude? He's like, yeah, I get that. I'm like, well, then that's it. And I don't know how long he didn't watch it for, but I guarantee it's somebody at school showed him again. You know, like, it's just what it is. They just all,
I had
it's
to
everywhere.
work so hard to see pornography as a kid.
Yeah, and you're not that old. That's weird. How did-
38. We used to find it in the woods and shit. I was
You
stuck
found porn in the woods.
a couple times, yeah.
Just there it was, a magazine ready to go.
Well, as I got older, I started to realize that the park near my house, in the city where I live, it's not like there's
Sketchy
that
park.
many like significant parks, And
Yeah.
once I get the internet in '97. By '98, there's an article in the local newspaper saying that this park near my house, Greeley Park, is the gay hookup park.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, when I see that, it explains so many things because a couple of different times as a kid, I had been walking through that park and found like a piece of porn, like a page from a magazine.
Yeah.
And the really traumatic one was when I was like 11 or 12. I was walking through there with my friend, and there's a brown bag, and I kicked the brown bag, and a fucking basically like a pocket pussy with a mustache around the opening.
Dang, is
fell
the,
out
is
of
the
bag.
mustache necessary?
Yeah. Like as if it wasn't clear that this was like a gay thing. No, the
Man,
mustache.
gay parks are sketchy.
They still exist.
Yeah, I've been to one.
We should go to some.
You want to?
No.
It's really terrifying.
I know, dude.
There's like people just hiding under trees and shit. Like you walk through bushes and there's a guy in the bushes just like, hey. And I'm like, oh my God.
Imagine my local town going into hysteria because everybody finds out that this local park is a gay park.
Do you think they would?
Who?
The people. They'd care?
In '98, yes, there was
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of concern about this, and I'm assuming there was a lot of cops patrolling the area, and it makes me wonder if it's still like that at all,
I don't get the cop. Like, if you're there to bust people, sure, but I don't like it when a cop goes there to say he wants to blow you and then he busts you. That's not cool.
That happens?
That's what George Michael got. You know George Michael, right?
What was this song?
Faith.
Some 80s guy, right?
Faith. Some 80s guy?
I don't know. Do I seem like I have like a 80s pop
Yeah, but you're a
knowledge?
fucking music guy. If you're a music guy, you understand all music and some of the giants that came before.
Very little outside of hip hop.
Seems
to be
so.
honest, yeah.
Well, whatever. If there's a lot of hip hop, I'm sure your brain's pretty busy with all that.
Yeah, and there's
But
a
yeah,
lot of hip hop I don't listen to.
He
or
went to a
like.
bathroom where people fucking jerk off or something,
Right.
and a cop flashed his dick. So George flashed his dick, boom, popped him.
Wow,
Bullshit, right?
so weird that was illegal.
To gay out in the bathroom?
So just to flash your dick in the bathroom, like what the fuck else are we doing in the bathroom?
Man, gay dudes do that stuff all the time.
Really?
Man, gay spas, people just go so hard, it's insane.
I have a question. My sister has a gay best friend, and at one point, this gay best friend met a family member of mine and said he's gay, and he's like in his 60s. None of us had ever even considered that he was gay, but never got married or anything. So he said that, and it sent my family group chat into a state of hysteria because all of a sudden we're like having the conversation, and like my dad is saying like he's not, like you're totally fucking making this up, like there's no way. But at the same time, we're getting this from my sister's gay best friend, who we're assuming has a pretty strong gaydar, and he was 100% confident in it.
Yeah.
My question is, can they sniff you out?
No.
They never sniff.
Everybody,
sniff it out.
that's why I do so well. Because all gay guys love straight guys.
Yeah.
Like just to fuck. They want straight guys. I still get called a straight guy at the gay spa.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm here naked. And you're like, oh, look at that straight guy. I'm like, are you sure about that? You might be off.
A lot of people have told me I should make my own OnlyFans and film jerk off videos and stuff, but I'm
I don't think you should do that.
kind of weary of having a gay fan
You
base.
seem like a guy that's not very gay.
No.
I have a gaydar, and it's not beeping for you.
No.
So, and you would know that if you had jerk off videos, that dudes are jerking off to you,
I
and
know.
you'd feel weird about that.
I know dudes who have like started OnlyFans and then shut it down like a month or two later and been like, man, it was only dudes in there DMing me. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, solo. What did you think was going to happen?
You think that there's a lot of women trying to pay to watch you jerk off? I mean, I'm assuming it's a pretty small number.
I don't think women pay to watch women jerk off.
No. Do women pay for porn in general? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably not, right?
We should find out.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you know?
I should ask them more often.
You could probably get the answer.
I haven't paid for a lot of porn in my life.
No, but I mean, people that use your, oh man, it's confusing because you're
A couple of girls out there, though, that I feel like copping their OnlyFans, just like realistically, I just want to see what's going on.
Yeah, I like that too.
You do?
I'll pay $20 to check out someone's vagina for sure.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like it when I pay and then you don't show me your vagina.
I've
I
paid
feel ripped off.
the $5 or whatever many times, and then realize like, oh my god, all the good shit's in the DMs, and I'm just fuck this. I'm out.
Dude, the MMA fighter, UFC fighter got her OnlyFans. I'm like, okay, I want to see her vagina for sure. It's like $20 a month. I sign up. She's got like,
Cyborg.
nah, I would watch her vagina too. That's interesting. This is Jessica I should probably, whatever.
I'll look it up.
But she didn't, no, don't look it up because she doesn't show anything. I'm like, wait a minute. It's an OnlyFans where you've got bikinis on?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. No offense.
I hate the bait and switch bullshit. They're
That's what it
trying
is, right?
Trying to trick you.
OnlyFans. Check out my OnlyFans account.
Bro, I had a midget the other day tell me like, oh,
You're not supposed to say that.
I don't care. A little person, whatever. A midget was talking to me, and
I saw a video on a
If
little
someone can
person-
explain to me why that word's offensive, maybe I'll.
I did. There's a video of a little person explaining how offensive it is. Fuck. I just started following her, and I felt very bad. I call them little people because it hurts their feelings when you call them that, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, especially small people.
Okay, so this midget was telling me that she was trying to get on the podcast. She's like, I made 40 grand by tricking people on Instagram or whatever into thinking that I fucked this male porn star because I took a photo with him and fucking, looked all cool in the photo like they were hooked up. She thought that I was going to see this as a selling point to have her on the show. I'm like, no, you're a piece of shit. And you
You
ripped
can be a
off your
piece of shit
fans.
and a little person. I'm not saying they're not piece of shit little people.
I don't
but
think
you don't
her-
need to call them.
Right. I don't think her being a piece of shit has anything to do with her being a midget. But I'm just saying, like, that it's like people wear that as a badge of honor. And it's not. You ripped off your fans, and they're never going to trust you again, and you deserve to be on the fucking street.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
It's got to be harder to be on the street when you're little.
Yeah, man.
Like, what job can you get?
I don't know. Just let people
Is there a little person podcast?
punch you in the head, I guess. No, that's a good idea though.
I would watch that. They don't have to wrestle or anything.
Does it say something bad about us that we don't have any little people that we currently listen to?
Well, I think
watch?
you've already displayed your hate for small people community.
I don't have a hate to them. I just don't understand why I would stop using a
You're
perfectly
using the
good word.
M word, and you refuse to have any of them on your show. Proves it.
No, I have had them on my show, and they frequently end up being psychopaths.
My bad. Well, were they porn little people?
No, no. There was this dude, Big Nick, who was on here, who was just like a fucking random ass YouTuber who was like friends with David Dobrik.
Okay.
And he absolutely lost his mind and is the biggest religious maniac now. Ugh. And he unfollowed like not just me, but like almost everybody that he was cool with. And he's just this crazy religious dude. And I'm like, oh wow, like fucking little person stuff. Like, you know,
he left the little people.
You're just so mad at your life that you just have to go out and just become this crazy fucking religious monster.
Wait, he's a religious guy that hangs out with little people? That's his shtick?
I don't know if he still kicks it with other little people. He's just a little religious guy now.
I like little people.
You don't like them? You're
No,
mad
I said
at
I
me.
like. I said I
You
like.
do like them. Okay.
I tried to sleep with one and she didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah, I got rejected at a porn convention. I was like, I really like you. And she was like, yeah, good for you.
Wow.
Like, man.
So that's what you do? You go to porn conventions and just
No,
tell all the
that was a
porn
long
stars
time
you want to
ago.
fuck them?
That was a long time ago. But yeah, if I go to a porn convention, I definitely try to sleep with people. I'm a giant whore.
Oh, I haven't been to a porn convention in years and
Me
years.
too.
I went to one and I never entered it. I just played poker the whole time. My girl went to it.
Yeah, but you've seen. I feel like if you go enough, then yeah, you don't need to go anymore. But at first, it was exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. The first when I
couple years?
went. Well, I only went once, and then I went again, and I didn't even enter the floor.
I've had a couple of times where I recall having a good time, which made me go back the next time until
Right.
I was like, wait, this is lame. But there was at least 3 or 4 times where it was very exciting and fun. My dick was out a lot.
I'm gonna bring some big ass security guards because there's a lot of weird people in that environment, and I'm not trying to have some people fucking barking all kinds of strange shit at me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that's like anymore. No one's trying to get at me.
Oh, stop.
I can pretty sure go to the porn. I'm pretty sure I can go anywhere, and I'm okay.
Are you insecure about where you're at in life right now? It feels like you're still kind of like battling this idea that like your clout level is kind of falling off post Sirius.
It would be a huge fuck you if I could be bigger than I was on Sirius.
That's the goal.
There's a part of it. I won't lie. That sounds cool. But where I'm at right now is awesome.
Where you were at with Sirius, there's a big old ceiling on your growth, realistically,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but it was a big check,
Yeah.
so it wasn't. I don't regret it.
But just having that ceiling on your growth and knowing that, like, because would they have not allowed you to go start a podcast with somebody else?
No.
See.
Yeah, the Hawk versus Wolf podcast would not happen.
Right.
That'd be grounds to be fired.
How
for sure.
strong was your relationship with Tony Hawk that you were able to pull that off? You just told him, like,
He
hey,
asked me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that was his only consistent weekly podcast?
He heard that he got dropped by Sirius.
Oh, he was too?
Yeah, so he got dropped.
Wow.
He got dropped like 3 years before me.
Oh, shit.
And then when I got dropped, he called me and goes, "Hey, do you want to do a show with me? Because I'd really like to. I mean, I've been itching to get back and do a show. And now that you're gone, let's do. Because that's how I got on Sirius. He asked me to do his show. I was a co-host of the Tony Hawk show, and then they were like, "Whoa, you're really good. Do you want to be a DJ?" That's how I got the gig. So I went down there and said, "Hey, you're not trying to do this to help me, right? Because I don't need that. You know,
Right.
like if you really want to do it, I'll do it. But you don't have to go above and beyond to do this for me." And he said, "No, I really want to do it."
Right.
He's very invested in it. Like he finds old video. Like if he talks about shit that happened in the 80s, he'll get the fucking video to put in the podcast. Like he hustles on it. He thinks that he has something and he wants to make the most of it.
That's dope. I mean, that's
He's
one
way
thing.
better at talking now. He used to talk to like he was talking to little kids because he was selling to little kids.
Right.
Now he's older. You know, he talks about, you know, he'll go out, he'll drink, he can have a hangover, he can talk about stuff that he would never talk about. So it's just a different, even compared to the Sirius show. I didn't think that he and I would have done that well in podcasting if it was that show.
Really?
But now he talks about everything.
That's
He talks
so
about all
interesting.
the struggles in his life, and
I
he
feel
never
like
would do that.
Even like now, he's almost doing more brand deals. and like more
I think so.
advertisements and stuff. So like that normally is why you need to keep your nose clean. Although I do kind of feel like he has like solidified enough rep that almost nothing would fuck his image up.
He's just not that creepy either. You know,
Yeah,
like if it all comes out, you'll be like, oh.
Seems like such a good, normal dude.
He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. The things that he's done for me, it's just the most that anyone has ever done for me in my life.
Right.
And I watch him do it to people everywhere around him. He helps everybody.
Right.
That's his thing. He gives back.
I started to realize that I was being a low-key piece of shit to you because after I did your podcast, I mentioned to you, hey, you think you could get Tony to do my podcast before I had you on my podcast? And then after I said it to you, I just realized I'm like, oh, that makes me look like a fucking clout muncher right there. Like I should definitely interview Jason before I mention, hey, could you maybe put in a good word with one of your friends?
So that's why we're doing this?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
See how Tony helps me?
No, I was planning on doing this the other way. I mentioned the Tony thing to you. I got a little too excited, and then I thought about it after. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me.
I just realized I mentioned it to him because I'm that kind of guy, and he's like, I'm pretty busy. Like, ask me next year or something. And I think that now he would do it. I don't want to say that for sure, but
Right.
He's not skating.
Right.
You know, like he's in the middle of promoting his new documentary on HBO, Till the Wheels Fall Off.
Right.
And he's walking around on crutches right now because he just had a compound fracture in his femur. So he's going through some shit.
Really?
Yeah, we just did that podcast. He's so, I don't get it. He's a fucking warlord. He seems nerdy, but he's one of the toughest people I've ever met.
Something like breaking your leg when I was a young...
Came out the skin, dude. I got video of it.
On the vert ramp.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was the grossest shit I've ever
You
seen.
have video of it, but it's not coming out? It's that graphic?
He said that he wants me to keep it. We put bits of it in the podcast that just came out, but it's not the graphic parts.
Right.
And he said he doesn't want to see anything graphic until he's skating again.
Because nowadays with social media, it's like a lot of like really bad crashes almost do seem like you shouldn't put it on social media. Like it's too depressing. It's too violent.
I got flagged for putting Lizzie Armanto, a pro female skateboarder. She missed the gap over the mega ramp,
Right.
and just fell in the hole. And we posted it because the interview was about that. She gave us the footage to break out to everybody,
Right.
and we got flagged for it.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
What was there,
It's
blood
a
and
skateboard
shit?
slam. No,
She just fell into the pit.
it was just a graphic slam. You're supposed to jump the gap.
Yeah.
She lost her balance before the kicker and just went head first and missed the quarter pipe, missed the kick ramp, and hit the other wall. And
was it
then
disturbing?
fell.
Because I feel like that's kind of the thing on Instagram and stuff is it's like if it's really graphic enough that it's disturbing. The same thing with like, okay, if you see a car crash, you could post the car crash. If you see a car crash and there's blood and somebody's fucking arm is hanging out of the car, you can't really post that.
Yeah.
Okay. It vibes totally different.
One of the angles where she bounces off the wall is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But it was a skateboard slam. She's okay. We're all here. I don't get when you compare all the other violence that's on
Yeah.
YouTube. I'm like, wait, this is too graphic for you?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it seemed kind of stupid.
I always think about Tony because BMX has kind of struggled with like a lot of our elder statesmen have not always, aged so gracefully. And in comparison, Tony Hawk has just remained pristine throughout all these years.
You mean like Matt Hoffman or Dave Mirra kind of thing?
Mira killed himself. Hoffman
sad.
dealt with a lot of serious fucking head injuries and stuff. He's not as lucid on camera as somebody like Tony Hawk, And then I could go through a fucking list of people who've had various catastrophes happen to him in BMX.
It does seem like that.
It was like a kind of weird bad luck thing.
What is it? Robertson passed away as well. What's his name?
Oh, Kevin Robinson.
Kevin Robinson. Like,
Yeah.
just man, you're not old. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Even
but
when I was young. By the time I was 18, I had like 3 BMX pros who I looked up to who had died on motorcycles. Like serious. This guy Richard Boyley, Joe Tissio, and this guy Adam Armstrong, who are all 3 of my favorite BMX riders at that time. By the time I was 16 or 17, boom, they're all dead.
from
from
just on the road,
motorcycles.
like a car running them over.
Yeah, I think there's something about BMX bikes that teaches you to ride a motorcycle like an asshole, or at least
I can see
dangerous.
that, 'cause you got bike control, so now you can throw it around.
And that's why when they tell me that I'm a terrible driver, that's why I blame it on. It's because I feel like I'm riding a bike with no brakes for all those years taught me to drive a car I have brakes. I can go really fast and just stop.
Are you a terrible driver or are you just a fast driver?
I think I'm just an aggressive asshole driver.
Me too.
Yeah.
We should race.
I'm not into cars though, so I don't even know if my car is fast or not. Although they tell me it's nice.
We could just get race cars and go to a racetrack and race.
Oh, I mean,
it's already official that I'm a better skateboarder.
I don't pride myself on this shenanigans at all.
I'm just trying to have fun, man. Relax.
Let's go to Woodward, man.
Yeah, I'll BMX with you.
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to go either.
Do you have any BMX friends that you like talk to, like pros from back in the day or anything?
I talked to Rick Thorne.
Shout out
when I
Rick
see him
Thorne.
at the vert ramp. He comes, skates with Tony, rides with Tony.
Nice.
I
I used to see Rick Thorne just blasting down Melrose when we had the store.
still see him
for
doing
no
that.
reason. He would just be.
He's still doing that.
I interviewed him back in the day.
He's a good dude. Hard-working guy.
Very good guy, Rick Thorne. Man, he got
Paid
a lot
his
of
dues.
shit. That BMX industry fucking gave him a hell of a time back in the day.
Really?
Oh my god.
For what? Being a talker?
Being Rick Thorne, being a little goofy, maybe. A little corporate, maybe, before everybody was a little corporate, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Look,
Good
you
guy,
get
though.
the job, and when you're an insignificant fucking action sports athlete and someone offers you a bunch of money to be on TV, you fuck off, everybody. I'm doing it.
For real. What do you want to tell the people at home to go check out?
The Jason Ellis Show podcast. That would be really cool if you could like and describe that one.
YouTube, podcast apps, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, everywhere. And then Hawk versus Wolf, the podcast. That's everywhere. Same thing through Cast Media.
For sure.
It's available everywhere. That would be
Get
really
it.
cool if you check that out. Yeah.
Get it, people. Yeah, I appreciate your time.
Thanks
man.
for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I
don't
feel
know.
cool. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I feel super up to speed right now.
I mean, you had your. See, I talked about this on yours, where I watched you on Impulsive, and then I
Yes.
saw the 9 Club one, and I was like, do I want to spend 3 hours of learning like skateboarding minutia of like a lot of people's names I'm not going to know?
Yeah.
So I didn't know where this would necessarily fit in the in between.
Well, I hope I did okay. We didn't get too into skateboarding and BMX, did we? You said a couple of names I never heard of. I think I did that too.
Brian Pumper.
Sorry. He's huge.
Brian Pumper's huge.
I'll be checking him.
For sure. Jason Ellis, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, dude.
Much love. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, etc.
You have your own water?
It's just a sticker.
Sick.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back real soon. NoJumper.com if you want to support. Appreciate y'all.